Hey everybody, it's your old pal Steve from RUNMOORE, out here at McDaniel Track in lovely Westminster, Maryland today, talking about 3 new shoes coming out from the brand Diadora this spring of 2024. Hey, just as a quick disclaimer here, these shoes were not provided to us by Diadora. These are just some of our own thoughts from a guy who owns a running shop and also runs in a bunch of different shoes. Let's start things off with the new Cellula. The Cellula is a $170 neutral trainer. It weighs 9.7 ounces on the men's and 7.6 ounces on the women. This is a high stack height with a 40mm stack height. And it has Diadora's Duratec 5000 rubber outsole and its Anima midsole. So the Cellula is a high cushion everyday trainer coming out in February of 2024. This shoe has sort of been modeled after a lot of popular shoes that have come down the pipeline from some of the other comparison brands out there. Specifically, I hate saying it, but this was sort of an idea coming after like a Hoka Bondi, but I think they did a really good job on this to differentiate it from the Bondi. One of the things I like about this is it has a little more of a lively midsole to it, plus the weight is a little better. It's a nice shoe for everyday running, but we have just customers coming in looking for a nice shoe for work, standing, doing that kind of same stuff that you'd look for in a max cushion neutral shoe. This shoe is not a straight lash shoe per se, but it definitely has a little more width through the midsection here, so it is going to be good for somebody with just some minor pronation issues, somebody who just wants a little bit of stability to a shoe without having a full posted or extra density on the midfoot to it. So you're getting a little bit of stability in this shoe just from the shape of it, but what we really like about this shoe, what really set this shoe apart from some of the other ones out there, is how smooth it is. And that's really what we're seeing a lot of new shoe brands out there doing, is stuff that has that nice easy transition. And it's in that perfect 5mm drop, which seems to be the spot where a lot of people are looking for to have that everyday responsive glidey shoe, which is why it's popular for somebody who's walking or running, because no matter what you're doing with it, when it's nice and airy light like this, it does just feel like the shoe is doing all the work for you. And a lot of times at the end of the day, it's one of those, I kind of forgot the shoe was on me because it felt so natural on my foot. It is $170, but I will say what things that we notice with Diadora, especially with their more premium outsole material, the durability on these things are spectacular. So I have no question that after these shoes come back after many miles, we're gonna see them still in really good shape. Up next is the speedy Frequenza trainer. The Frequenza is an everyday trainer with an 8mm drop to it. It has a 30mm stack height, and on the men's side, it's a nice light 8.1 ounces, and on the women's, it's 6.4 ounces. The Frequenza, which again, I'm sure I'm saying wrong, is actually sort of more of my wheelhouse type trainer. This is like a high performance, everyday trainer that we are calling a performance trainer. It's nice, it's light, it's airy, but what I really like about this shoe is it's not too squishy soft. And what I've seen in some of the shoes in this category as like an everyday high pace, fast pace, get going shoe is that they're a little too soft for me. This shoe actually works well with my foot as well because it doesn't feel like it's forcing me to run fast. Where a lot of the shoes in this category almost are trying to do the work for you, this allowed me to run the way that I run naturally, just giving me a nice little bounce along the way. It's springy without being soft, and it's light, and it's high cushion without feeling too clunky. I was able to turn some nice quick laps in this shoe, and I also found that the durability on this thing looks like it's gonna be great. I've now done some decent miles on the track on this and a few on the road, and really it's hard to tell on the outsole that I've done anything on it, which is always nice, and one of the nice things about Diadora. But one of the shoes that I think is gonna be one of my first in rotation when I'm doing something, whether it's gonna be a track workout, maybe a 10-mile tempo run, something like that, I really like the way this shoe lets me run like me without feeling like I'm being forced into a position that I don't particularly like. And finally is the Gara Carbon. The Gara Carbon comes in at 8.1 ounces. It has a 39.5mm stack height and a 5mm drop. So this is a $300 carbon plated shoe, and I guess I have to lead with that because that is quite a big price point. Obviously, we've been seeing a lot of carbon plated shoes in the last couple of years coming out, but this, at least in my rotation, is the most expensive. So I really had high hopes and aspirations for the shoe, and it performed great. I really like the shoe, and same thing, it doesn't feel unnatural. And so many carbon plated shoes make me run differently, where this actually felt like it ran so smoothly with me. I was a little worried first putting it on because it felt a little narrow for my foot, but as soon as I got 200 meters in, it felt totally fine. My foot was happy, and I have bunion issues. I got a BFF, big fat foot, and this actually felt fine for me. In fact, one of my colleagues is here today who's a size 12. This fit his foot just fine. I was really happy with the turnover rate on this. I was a little concerned about the weight. I don't know, I just felt like it would be a little bit lighter, but it felt totally fine and smooth underfoot. I actually can see myself pulling this shoe in anything from like a 10K to a marathon, not necessarily everything that's a long distance shoe where a lot of the carbon plated stuff is almost like half marathon and on. I can see myself doing some shorter stuff in this because it almost seems nice and streamlined underfoot so you don't feel clunky. I was kind of monitoring myself doing some track laps in this to see if I found myself weaving, because that's a common thing with me when I feel like I have a shoe that's too oversized or a carbon plated shoe that's forcing me unnaturally. I literally find myself weaving through lanes, but I felt myself hugging the inside turns very well on this. Nice, quick, up-tempo, light, airy, fast. Yes, it's a high price point. I like that it's a little bit denser. It gives me nice spring. I don't feel like I'm sinking in the shoe. Really nice carbon plated shoe from Diadora. Yes, it's a high price point, but honestly, at least for my foot and the way I run, of all the ones I tried today, this was my favorite one. So just a quick recap on the shoes we talked about today. The Cellula, really just an everyday trainer, also good for walking, also good from work. High cushion, could run a little bit narrow, so keep that in mind. Doesn't come in widths just yet. Up next, we had the Frequenza. This is an everyday trainer, but a much more lively, a much more aggressive, fast-paced everyday trainer. Not like a walking shoe, not really a work shoe, truly a nice up-tempo trainer. And then coming in last is a racing shoe. It's the Gara. This is nice and light. It has a full carbon plate through it, an even livelier midsole, and a nice durable outsole. 3 new shoes, all coming out in early 2024 from Diadora. Check them out on our website. Use the link down below, enter promo code RUNMOORE, and you'll save 10% on any new models on our website. And if you have any questions on these 3, we're doing a lot of Diadora stuff in the shop, so I'm pretty good on all the models from Diadora. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down on the comments down below. We'll try to get back to you as soon as we can. If you're in the greater Westminster, Maryland area, stop on by RUNMOORE, say hello. There's a good chance you'll see me while you're there. Thank you so much. Happy running. See you around town.